Awesome. Okay. Happy Sunday. I'm so excited to share the transformation game plan that we're going to go through today. For some of y'all, we've gone through this, you know a little bit about it already. For some of y'all, this is brand spanking new, and I think that it's going to change your life. Literally, it's transformation. So, this is the guide to help you walk into your most confident and empowered self in your health and growth journey. So, this transformation journey, even though I've been a trainer for many years now, going on like 12 years, I think, I just learned it 3 years ago before my wedding. And I wish I would have learned it sooner, but here we are, no gatekeeping here. We're going to teach y'all everything I know and how to get the physique, have the lifestyle, and to feel good and confident in your body. So, welcome to Clarity, Education, and to creating your own game plan. My objective with this call today is to give you all the education to walk into the rest of 2025 with your customized game plan. Learning the transformation phases and how to apply them with proper intention and strategy will allow you the clarity you've been craving for your health and growth journey. So obviously, y'all are here because you work with me. And working with me is fine and dandy, but understanding these phases, the commitment, the mindset, the time, the season of life you're in, all those things are so important. So I'm really excited to share a little bit of my story and how this either might relate to you, might give you some idea of where to start and how to go. But at the end of this, we're going to walk away with a complete game plan on how to transform your body. So here we go. So my transformation journey, like I said, I've been a trainer for just about 12 years now and in this health and fitness journey for so many years, and I was beyond frustrated that I still hadn't achieved my goals or lowered my body fat to actually look strong. I did my best to choose gratitude and celebrate the wins, but I knew I was missing something. So I feel that many of y'all can relate, which is why I can't wait to teach y'all this game plan to get you the results you've been craving. So as you can see in these photos, I got my 2022 self and my 2024 self, which was my best cut that I've had yet. So let's go through that journey. So 2022, I was frustrated and the heaviest I'd ever been. I was training 5 days a week, eating 150 grams of protein, and confused onto why I was so heavy and lacking results. I had already hired a health and mindset coach in 2021, which brought me so much awareness on my habits, my self-talk, my limiting beliefs, relationship with food, and recovery. Well, obviously, I have a January 22 and May 2022, and they don't look different at all. And January, I was trying to do my own thing, and then I was working with my coach, just trailing off, working off with my coach, and still trying to figure out my own stuff. And obviously, I wasn't changing much, and that's not fun, especially when you're working real hard or what you think we're doing the right things, right? So what I learned that training 5 days a week was great, but I was not walking enough. I was eating 150 grams of protein. That's what I was prioritizing, but I wasn't logging my food. Therefore, based on not losing weight and looking the same, I was having too much. I was having too much carbs, too much fat, which means I was overeating, which means I was in a calorie surplus. And I was also eating so much processed food. At this time, I was still vegan, so I was eating tons of processed vegan meats and all the things. And even though that sounds like a healthy label to put on things, whether you go paleo, vegan, all the different things in between, no carb, whatever, fasting, I don't care. If you're not aware of what you're putting in your mouth, how much you're moving, your recovery, all those things, it doesn't matter because you can end up still looking the same even though you're doing all the work. Okay. So processed food, that's what was happening here. Stress was really high, recovery was really low. And if we're not really taking into account how much stress affects us, you'll just feel it. Okay. So that's why awareness is going to be super, super key. So this part is an important part of the journey. So as y'all may know, July 2022, Brittany and I decided we wanted to get married in 6 months. So there's nothing more motivating than wanting to feel amazing in your wedding, in the dress, whatever. Within 6 months of that decision, we found out that both of our dads had stage 4 cancers. Felt like a literal nightmare. I thought I was going to lose the weight on my own, but I knew I didn't have the bandwidth or the capacity with my already overflowing plate. So I hired the coach who taught me the transformation cycle. So some of y'all may be thinking, why is this important to mention in this particular lesson about learning to transform your body? Right? Well, as you know, here at G&G, we do is so much more than fitness. Understanding your load versus capacity means how much you have going on in your world is your life load, right? So whether you have a lot on your plate, not so much, life is good, got a lot going on. Um, that's important to know, and also where your capacity is. So if your capacity is here, but your life load's here, you're gonna be asking for injury, burnout, losing muscle, all the things, or not knowing how to regulate yourself. But our goal is to be right around here and little by little expand that capacity and expand your load. So that's what that looks like. I have a visual on that, but we're not going to go over that today. So where your capacity is on a daily basis is wildly important to know, which is why I always ask y'all, what is your recovery number, right? Going over stress, sleep, and nutrition. So that's where that gets plugged in. So I want to remind y'all that no, not the capacity you had a year ago, or the capacity you had before the injury or before the baby or before COVID or whatever your best self had, your current capacity. And I think that's important to note because so many of us like to go back. Well, like 2 years I was able to do this. And like just last month I was able to do that. Well, last month, did that crazy thing happen in your life? No. So we got to be realistic and mindful with where we are and all the things in our life. So this allows you to adjust your training, your nutrition, your recovery plan, mindset, habits, and expectations you have of yourself for the season of life you're in. And also, I also share this wildly important yet pivotal part of my story to remind y'all that I'm human too. Shitty things happen, life gets hard, but we get to do hard things during hard times in order to grow. And y'all don't pay to work with me to stay stagnant. So it's a little friendly reminder. I always say, y'all don't pay for easy. So here we are. So October 30th, 2022, I hired Jakarta. Mind you, my wedding was January 21st, 2020. So I had like 3 months. So I was my remote coach from Germany who I work with today. I was ready for a fat loss phase, meaning I prerequisite work. I'll talk a little bit about it in a second. And it was my first time ever intentionally starting a fat loss phase with the proper parameters. So yes, in the past, eaten less and moved more. I'd done the master for 20 to 45 minutes, fasted for hours. I tried things like cutting out carbs and signing up for half marathons and drinking 2 replacement shakes and only having 1 meal a day and all the other nonsense we've tried, right? I know that there's a list. So in this photo here, this is 10/30, 2022. I literally took this photo. I like removed the background, but I took this photo from a bathroom in the USC hospital in the middle of Dad's like journey. So y'all a little bit of perspective how we started this. So part of this transformation was that I had to drop the quick fix mindset. I had to follow the plan. I had to keep doing my damn best every day. I had to check in with my coach on Sundays, and how I did it back then was just literally a sheet. And every Sunday I had to, or I could have done it daily, but I chose to do it every day. I had to log in my daily steps, type in every single number for the whole day. My most carbs, fats, protein, everything. My biofeedback data, which is sleep, how many hours of sleep I got, my energy on a scale of 1 to 10, and then my RPE and my training. These are all really important things that I'm going to also ask y'all to do in a much easier fashion. Okay. So all while training, all while training 27, running 2 businesses, trying on witnesses, chemo appointments, surgeries, and all the emotions that came with that. Okay. So fun stuff. But it got to my wedding month and I was down 10 to about 15 pounds by the time my wedding came. And it was the best damn feeling of knowing that I did my best while knowing how easily it could have been to choose to be stagnant or even worst case scenario, go backwards, right? So I'm grateful that I didn't drop the goals and that I didn't focus on all the shitty things I had going on in my life and let the emotions convince me that it would be too hard or uncomfortable to follow through with the steps, the game plan, which is hitting my 10,000 steps a day, logging and hitting my macros at least 80% of the time, getting 7+ hours of sleep when I could, training 4 to 5 times a week with strength training with the proper intensity, and to do my best to minimize stress. So meditating, practicing gratitude, breath work, all those things. And I did all that so I can get the result I wanted. So I felt like that was a cute little photo there to throw in. All right, so this is what y'all came for, the transformation cycle education. So there is 4 parts of this transformation cycle, and no exact part where you're going to start, but it's going to depend on where you are in your journey and of life with your level of commitment and all your biofeedback markers. How's your energy? How's your muscle mass? How often are we training? All those things are so important. What's your stress like? Okay. So I'm going to start this way and go this way. So we got reverse diet first. This is a 6 to 8 week process. Okay. Actually, let me start at a fat loss really quick. Let's go back down. So fat loss, which is where most people want to start, has so many prerequisites, and I share that in the nicest way, because if we're currently not hitting our protein, if we can't hit more than 5K steps a day, if we are not sleeping well, if our stress is through the roof, you cannot start a fat loss. Like, just respectfully, you are not going to start a fat loss. It is not the phase for you right now. There's so much prerequisites work. We got to build up those steps. We got to make sure we hit our protein and calories, carbs, calories, all the things, on a at least 80% basis. If we're not doing that, fat loss is not the phase for you, and we'll go over that in a second. But I just want to, like, so many people are very excited to start, especially when hiring a trainer. But we got to earn it. We got to earn it. So fat loss phase, 12 to 24 weeks. Okay. So anywhere between 3 to 6 months maximum. The goal there is to lose body fat, maintain muscle, improve your body composition, meaning gain some muscle, lose some body fat, which changes your body composition, and improve your hormone profile. So let's say you go through that fat loss phase, you lose what you're looking to lose, or whatever you can within those weeks. Then you go into a reverse diet. Why is this important? Pretty much a reverse diet is where your fat loss, you drop your calories as low as, not as low as you can, I don't want to use that phrase, a good amount to where you're still able to lose weight, have a good amount of energy, and get the results you want in that time frame. Let's say that. So then let's say you're at your 1,500 calories during your fat loss. Now we get to go reverse diet, which means you're probably going to go from 1,500 calories up to 1,600, 1,700, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. The goal is to eat the most that you can, increase your calories to maintain your new weight, keep your body fat gain to a minimum. And this needs to be planned and not gain all the weight back. In this phase, I'm going to go over details in a second, but in this phase, after you're still hitting your protein and you're maintaining your habits, your steps, your sleep, all those, obviously your training, okay, so that you just turn around and reverse everything, that you're able to increase your calories to maintain. Next, we go into a phase. Maintenance is a 12 to 24 weeks process. So this establishes that new weight as your standard weight. So that weight that you lost, fat loss, your goal is to not gain that by reverse, but you have to follow that. So allowing you to enjoy the carbs, use them for fuel, and keep that weight. Now you're in your maintenance. You're staying at that plus or minus a few pounds after your fat loss. This is to establish your new weight as your new standard. It's important to stay here for the list of time, especially if it's your first transformation cycle. Then from here, you could either choose to stay in a maintenance for as long as possible, depending on your energy, all the other things that we have going on, stress levels. And then we have a building phase. So you can either go into a building phase, and if your goal is to look lean, curvy with muscle, have shoulders, booty, all the things, you need a building phase. We don't just have a booty from losing tons of fat. Booty is muscle, shoulders are muscle, abs are muscle. All those muscle groups that you want that have that nice, really great shape is muscle. So we need to actually have the muscle before we go right back and get obsessed with the fat loss phase again. So building phase can be 12 weeks, 104 weeks. So this is a lot of fun because you obviously get to eat. You get to be intentional with either having more lean build or a dirty build. Dirty build is eating all your nonsense that you might enjoy, but that will also come with gaining a little fat. If you have a lean build and you're still eating well, just like you did during these other phases, you can gain a minimal fat. Yes, you will still gain some minimal fat, but really focus on the muscle building portion of this phase. So grow your muscles to help you create the shape you like I mentioned, the booty, the shoulders, the abs, all the things, the triceps. Small breaks with mini cuts help to get your hunger level back up. That's interesting. I'm sure it's just different from other people. And this gets to be 5% more calories of your maintenance. So clarity is key. And this is why it's so important to know what is your why. You need to know why you're starting this journey, why you care to change what your body looks like. Is it a vacation? Is it the wedding dress? Is it to prove to yourself that you can? Is it to add more years to your life? Whatever it is, visualize it and play that shit on repeat in your head. Let go of all the limiting beliefs of like, no one in my family's fit. How am I going to be the fit? No, none of that. Like, oh, I've never been this way, blah, blah, blah. None of that. Or like, whatever our nonsense thoughts are that aren't helping us, like drop that and just play the vision on repeat. Okay, give that more airtime is the phrase I like to use. So number two, what is going to be really important to understand what is required from you in each phase. So be realistic with your life load, expectations, and your capacity as you map out your game plan in these phases. Okay, follow the plan and communicate. I feel like if I can make this massive in the whole screen, I would, but we don't need to. We're just going to talk about it because we're all adults. But follow, communicate. Mentally decide your stick plan and drop the excuses. Communication is key, but even more so while on your way to transformation. So if you are in a cut phase, I need those check-ins locked in. I need those photos locked in. I need to know your energy levels, your stress, sleep. Are we training enough? How are you feeling with food? Like all those things. If you are like energy is crazy low, to bump some things up and adjust your numbers. There's no one size fits all in this transformation journey, but the biofeedback markers, energy, training, strength, cognitive, all those things, right? Focus, those are really important to know and to communicate with your coach, not just with yourself, because respectfully, like we might think like, oh, I'm not losing weight, I need to drop my calories. No, no, no. Let's talk to your coach. Let's figure it out. Maybe instead of dropping your calories, let's look at your steps. Have we been hitting our steps? Things like that. Okay. So it's so important to communicate. Yeah, just like period. We'll leave it there. All right, now let's create your game plan. And I think this is where we're almost excited about. I know when I created my game plan with my coach, it was really cool to see. She has it all on a Google sheet. So it was just like swiping down and seeing all my numbers and my game plan and, okay, when's the vacation? When's this? When's that? And making those things end goals and end dates to give me the fuel and the motivation to where I want to go. So you need to know where you're starting. You got to be honest and realistic with where you are and where you need to start. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people want to start in a fat loss journey, but you might need a reverse diet or even a build to get the look, the results that are desired. Okay. Know where you want to go. So if your goal is to have your body and stay strong and possibly lean long term, then you're going to need to play the long game. So be patient, trust the process, know that fluctuations happen, life happens, injuries may or may not happen. Yeah, lots of things happen. So just don't be obsessed with trying to keep the number super light on the scale. And then know when you want to get there. Locking in that specific date for the end of your fat loss is crucial, so that we don't get stuck in this calorie deficit mode forever. We don't want to be, you're not meant to be in a calorie deficit forever. Okay. Your dream physique is not just going to get complete in one transformation cycle. You're going to need to do a couple, and you're going to learn every single time, and you're going to level up every single time. So that's going to be really cool, as long as you're intentional, obviously. So here we go. Let's start with the fat loss phase. Monica, I'm just going to bug you to let me know if you can still hear me so that I'm not just talking. If you don't mind unmuting yourself and letting me know.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yay. And you
Yeah.
wait, can you see me or no?
No, I can just see like the little icon with you, and then I just see the slides.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
That's fine. I didn't need to do my makeup. Just kidding. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, so fat loss phase. Okay, so there's about 10 different steps, but the main things are going to be on the left side. The things are on the right are going to be all mindset, and I really need us. They're both equally important. So achieving a successful fat loss phase requires balanced approach that combines proper nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle adjustments. So number one is setting the clear and realistic goal. So that is going to be whether drop a certain amount of pounds on the scale. It's going to be either sitting, hitting a certain body fat, fitting into a certain thing, the dress, whatever. And it needs to be a very measurable and achievable goal. So the timeline, we get to understand that fat loss is gradual, and to make it healthy, I'm reading from my notes. So if you see me looking over, I look a little crazy. Fat loss is typically, the rate is going to be 0.5 to 1% of body fat per week. Okay. So again, if training steps, eating, sleep, stress management, all those things are dialed in, you will be losing fat in a beautiful fashion. Mind you, we're human. There might be a celebration, high sodium meal, whatever it is, low sleep, all those things are going to affect. But if you've ever done a fat loss phase, you know that the numbers go like this. It's not a just consistent way down. So we got to let go of that mindset. Number 3 is prioritize protein intake. So obviously I feel like I've talked about protein so much, but protein is like needs to get locked in. If I'll talk about my numbers a little bit. So if my goal weight was, for my most successful fat loss, my goal weight was 145. I got to I think it was like 135. I got to 144. My protein intake was 150 grams of protein. So what I'm trying to say here is that your goal weight is kind of going to be your amount of protein in grams. So if my goal weight was 140, I was eating around 150, 140 grams of protein per day. So no one's trying to weigh 100 pounds. So don't make your protein goal minimum of 100, yes, but like really we got to build that up to like at least 130, 150 plus. So anyways, number 4, incorporate resistance training, which most of y'all are doing with me already. But as you can see, it says 3 to 5 times per week. So if we're really locking into times, making a priority in that 3rd day to maintain your muscle mass and just keep the shape you want. Getting your cardio, this here can be your state cardio, which is all the walking they get to do. So how I have my clients do this is, instead of being little gym rats and being on a treadmill all day, we are going to hit anywhere between 7 to 12,000 steps, depending on where you're at in your fat loss journey. Maybe at the end, you might build up those steps to about 15,000, but not getting those up too high so that we don't increase your hunger right away. So going on runs is cool, but going on runs is also going to increase your hunger insanely. So we're going to really need to keep it more steady state so that you can go at a nice, smooth pace here. Managing stress and sleep. So sleep is literally gets to be somewhere around 7 to 9 hours of sleep is what's recommended for you to really boost your metabolism, help your muscles recover, and to minimize stress. So that's super important. Obviously, it may or may not be realistic for everyone, but what I always say is like, figure out how you can add 30 more minutes of sleep. Okay. Figure that out, make it happen. It's probably a boundaries thing. It's probably whatever thing we got to work on. Believe me, same. It's whether it's turning off your phone at a certain time, whatever. Figure it out, but we get a little bit more sleep if you really want a successful fat loss phase. Staying consistent. We gotta understand that this is a long game and it's small steps. Okay, so it's gonna be anywhere between 3 to 6 months for this fat loss phase. 6 months does feel like a long time, but we got to really keep our eye on the price here, because once you're done with it, then we're done with loss for at least a year. So really the phrase we like to use is squeeze the most out of this fat loss phase so you can get your best bang for your buck. Monitor your progress. It's going to be crucial to check in, logging your measurements, which I have to do daily in a fat loss phase. Progress photos are weekly. Checking how your clothes fit, measuring that, right? Doing circumference measurements, which we do together, and then not just relying on the scale. Okay. Staying hydrated, making sure you're drinking anywhere between 3 to 4 liters of water, because sometimes we think we are hungry, but it might just be thirst. And no one wants to feel like a dehydrated bee when we are hungry as well. Okay. So we need both. And hydration also helps your muscles, all the things. And we get to adjust as needed. So again, communication is going to be key, because if you tell me your energy is super low, whatever is going on, we're going to adjust some things here and there. Maybe we need more fats, more carbs, and figure that out, or we let in some of your training. So it just depends on what needs to be adjusted. But most importantly, patience and mindset. So enjoy the journey, fat loss time. So focusing on the process, staying positive will help you stay motivated. Celebrate the non-scale victory is crucial, like strength, improved energy, better mood. We got to celebrate those things. We just use the scale, we're going to be a grouchy bee. All right, reverse diet. I feel like, so I put all the notes screen 1 because I feel like so many people get really nervous about increasing calories, right? We get so excited about losing weight that we get almost scared of more carbs or scared of more calories. They're like, oh my gosh, that's so much. But that's just a lot of we get to unlearn a lot of the old diet culture of like eat less to be smaller. So if we really want to look strong, have the shape that we want, we get to increase those calories and you get to follow this game plan. Okay. So reverse diet after a fat loss phase is key for maintaining your results while gradually increasing your calorie intake to avoid regaining the fat you've lost. Here's some key points for successful reverse. So number one is gradually increase calories. So I think I talked about it a little bit earlier. So the end of my fat loss phase, I was at 1400 calories and my coach upped me about 100 to 200 calories. Well, here it says 50 to 100. My coach did 100 to 200 calories per week, depending. So again, if we go back to that transformation cycle that I showed you earlier, this reverse diet goes 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. So we're going to go up slowly, nice and controlled. What we are looking at is your biofeedback markers, your weight, your energy, your sleep, all those things. Okay. So first, gradually increase calories. Two, focus on macronutrient quality. Okay. We still are prioritizing protein because we want to maintain the muscle. We don't want to gain a ton of fat. We're adjusting carbs and fats while keeping an eye on how your body responds. Okay. So again, weighing in. So monitoring your progress, track your weight, body measurements, whether we're using the in-body circumference measurements, and how you feel, energy levels, hunger, performance in the gym each week. It's common to gain a small amount of weight initially due to increased carbs and water retention, but it should stabilize over time. So with that being said, don't be jumping to conclusions too early. Don't go into your cut or into a skip mindset. Trust the damn process, okay? Adjust based on feedback, which is what we were talking about. So if you gain too much weight quickly, 1 to 2 pounds per week, we're going to slow down the calories. If you're in weight gaining, you're still feeling energy, we're going to increase the calories. It's kind of simple. Keep training consistent. We're still doing you're maintaining those habits. You're, for the most part, are still going to be, let's say at the end of your cut, you're at 10K steps. We might get to bring it back down to about 8 to 10K, keeping it more range. But your training is consistent still, cardio still consistent, so that you can maintain your muscle and control that fat gain. Training volume might increase, have more energy, more carbs to use for your workout, but don't overdo it. Be mindful of your hormonal mental state. This is why I talk about this is so much more than fitness. You got to make sure how we're feeling and how our body's doing. So after loss, your hormones like leptin and thyroid hormones may be suppressed, leading to an increased hunger and fatigue. Reverse diet can help reduce hormones, but may take time. So make sure managing stress and make sure you're managing stress and getting enough sleep. Give yourself time. These 6 to 8 weeks might feel like a lot, might feel like whatever, but some of people are going to need a little bit more time in this reverse diet. Reverse isn't a quick process. It takes several weeks. In some cases, even several months to eating a level without gaining excess fat. The goal to restore your metabolism and hunger signal. And number 8, stay consistent but flexible. Stick to your reverse plan, but if you have an occasional higher meal, like a social event, don't stress and just get back to your next day. Flexibility, maintaining balance between adhering to the reverse diet and living your life. So enjoy the flexibility. You're out of the dieting phase and you get to enjoy more food. Just are still logging it so that we can maintain the look, the muscle mass, and not gain as much fat. Okay, so that's reverse diet. This next is about reversing after chronic eating, and I want to share this because, again, like I said at the beginning, so many people walk into this fat loss phase with years of chronic under eating. When they're buying food or whatever, we're at a grocery store, whatever, we're looking at things that say low calorie, low fat, and we think that a 250 calorie meal is high calories or that it's too much. And those are some of the signs that I can tell that you need this type of a reverse diet and that you've been chronically under eating for years, mind you, whether it's from social media, just social relational things that you learned as a kid, whatever it is, under eating is not good for us and we got to unlearn it. And here we are working together. Okay. So it is a delicate and gradual process. The goal is to increase your calorie intake slowly so your metabolism can adapt without excessive fat gain. So assessing your current intake, if let's say you're a new client and you've been constantly in diet mode, always trying to lose weight, eating like 12 to 1,500 calories forever for the longest you can think of, I'm talking to you, okay? So assessing your current intake. First, it's important to know how many calories you're currently eating. So this is what I do with my client. It's pretty much like an assessment week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, maybe 3 months, just depending on where you're at, okay? So this is important to know how much you're intaking, how much you're burning, and we can use this by using the TDE calculator just online, typing in all your info, how often you move, your height, weight, all the things, gender, and this will give us a baseline of what your maintenance should be. But we also got to know what you're currently intaking in, which is probably a lot less than your maintenance. So start with small increases. We're going to start increasing your calories nice and small, 50 to 100 calories per week. Our goal here is to help your metabolism because it's slowed down to conserve energy. And you think that 1,200 calories is going to help you lose fat. But at this point, your body has just learned how to live on 1,200 calories. And you're probably just holding on to a look that you might not be appreciating. So allowing your body to adjust gradually might to help you increase your protein intake will support maintaining mass and fat loss. 3 nutrient dense foods. Again, talking about lean proteins, eating fruits, these colorful foods, not what I mentioned earlier, which was all the processed food I was eating. So making it nice nutrient dense so that we can have digestion and appetite control. Also fiber rich, so just eat digestion as well. Monitor your progress. So keeping an eye on your body's response. So if you're getting way too quickly, again, we're going to slow those calories down. And if you're feeling too fatigued, we're going to eat those calories a bit. Strength training, that's a must so that you maintain your muscle, not making sure we're not overdoing it, so that you are not overtraining. Patience is key. This is going to take some time. Some people, it can take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. Some of my clients have in this phase for like 3+ because we're just still working through all the self-talk with eating more and maintaining eating enough and not going back to bad habits. Okay. And number 7, is mindful of your mental health. So again, I am not a therapist, but I know a handful of tools. I have a health mindset coaching cert, but that does not mean that we're going to go through disorder, your childhood trauma, all the things. It'll give me a good idea of where you're coming from, but I am the one to do that. I am not a mental health professional. So highly recommend working with a psychologist or a therapist to help you through these things. Okay. All right. Maintenance phase. Maintenance phase is actually a lot of fun. That's where I'm at right now. Gosh, enjoy the calories, girls. So good. Okay. I had a breakfast lunch bomb. Anyways, successfully transitioning into and a maintenance phase after fat loss, crucial for long-term success. Here, this number 1, recalculate maintenance calories. Okay. So this year, again, whether you EDE, after you've done your reverse, I'll go through my numbers. So my lowest calories for my fat loss, again, were about 1,400, reverse all the way to about 2,200 calories, bomb, which means about 220 carbs, 150 protein, and then about 60 to 70 fat. Okay. Good amount of food. So recalculate those, figure out what's the good numbers to where your body isn't gaining or losing. We have, yes, small fluctuations on the scale, but you should just be maintaining right there. We're already slow increasing calories, which I mentioned. You're monitoring progress. So again, that is going to be with energy, weight on the scale, which logging, how your clothes fit in your body, circumference measurements, all those things. Let me click here too. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Monitor progress. Okay. Under training. So again, here your steps get to be, your highest steps are around 12,000 during that. Then you probably get to be anywhere between 8 to 10, 8 to 12, not even hitting 12 is fine so that you can maintain, your body gets to do less work and maintain new weight, which is the goal. Okay. Probably doing a little less cardio. Maybe if you're doing 30 minutes, you're probably dropping down 10, 20 minutes. So enjoying that less strict game plan there. Okay. And prioritizing a balanced diet. So again, enjoying more flexibility, more treats, having that. So maintenance phase is really good when we are in a higher stress season. And maybe logging consistently isn't what we want to focus on, but we do want to maintain all our gains we've been working hard for, which is where I'm at right now. So maintenance is so lovely. Well, my wife's growing a baby, building a house, taking care of my dad, and navigating business life. So know where your life load is and what you can take on. And then all on the side over here, all going to be mindset. So be patient and mindful. This is so important. Okay. Embrace a maintenance mindset. So the goal is to maintain your body composition without the strict focus on weight loss. Under fluctuations in weight are normal, and it's okay not to be in a constant deficit. I feel like that big. Accept the change. Your body will not stay at its lowest during the fat loss phase, but maintaining a healthy and sustainable weight more important than constantly striving for lower numbers on the scale. I'm gonna repeat that because I feel like we need maintaining a healthy and sustainable weight is more important than constantly striving for a lower number on the scale. May or may not ever hit high school weight. And I don't know if you want to look like your old high school twiggy self again. So stop chasing that number. Okay. And maybe if you do it with more muscle. Okay. And with going through the transformation cycle. So plan for long-term sustainability, avoid the all or nothing mindset, stay flexible with your food choices and exercise routine. It's about finding balance and sustaining healthy lifestyles, not extreme dieting and constant restriction. Use non-scale measures. So track progress through other means, whether how clothes fit, how you feel in your workouts, your levels, and your overall well-being. Account for life events and stress. So manage stress. Stress can impact your body's ability to maintain weight, and full focus on strategies for managing stress like mindfulness, yoga, but sleep. Social events, life can throw curveballs like vacations or holidays. Plan when possible and be kind to yourself, knowing that maintaining long term is about consistent, not perfection. Consistency, sorry. Oh my gosh. All right, last one. We are almost there, cuties. Building phase. Building phase is kind of fun. I feel like I'm going to go into a building phase next. I haven't done a strategic or intentional one. I have done many bulks with a lot of fat in the past just because whatever. I think that's what happened in 2022 in those photos, but here we are. Okay. So number one is establishing your starting point. Before increasing calories, assess your current maintenance calories. So again, hopefully that's somewhere in the 2,300 range so that you have a nice amount of calories to play with. Body composition and progress, track weight, strength levels and measurements, and training performance. Ensure that your lifts are stable and improving before increasing calories. So once we increase those calories, again, the difference between a dirty bulk and a clean bulk, dirty bulk is excessive calorie surplus, and gaining excessive fat. But when we do gain a lot of fat like that, that's going to take a longer cutting phase. So that just means we're probably eating more fast food, less nutrients dense foods, and it's just maybe a lot less strict or like way too flexible if anything. But certain seasons of life need that, and that's okay. Just know that we know this transformation cycle to get you back on track. Number three, prioritize macronutrient distribution. So your macronutrient breakdown should optimize muscle growth. So protein, 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram, or 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So essentially for muscle growth and repair. So for example, if you're a 170-pound human, you're going to be eating about 140 to 170 grams of protein. Carbs, there's the breakdown. Carbs are for fuel and recovery, and fats supports hormone function. Okay, so carbs, you're probably eating around 300 to 450 grams of carb. That sounds crazy and so bomb. Just thinking about all the French toast. Anyways, fats, 65 to 85 grams. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of a breakdown of some numbers, I'm sure if those numbers almost make you scared, we probably need a lot more time in our maintenance. Okay, if you're like, oh my god, that's so much food, I could never. I wish you guys could see my face in that. You need some more time in your maintenance, and you get to enjoy food, and you get to still unlearn a lot of food mindset, limiting beliefs, and maybe a lot of diet culture that was probably ingrained in you for many years. Same. So number 4, optimize your training for growth and progress, which is pretty much progressive overload, making sure you're hitting your main list. If you want a certain muscle group to increase in size, you're going to be hitting that anywhere between 2 to 3 times per week. Whether it's the pull-ups to get that back or snatched, whether it's shoulders, whether it's the booty gains, just know that comes with very intentional training, 2 to 3 per week. Okay. But also, yeah, being intentional with your rep count to 12 reps, all the things. Okay. That's my job. So 5 is monitoring your progress. Okay. So tracking methods, you got your body weight trends, checking what that looks like, your strength gains, are you lifting heavier, more reps, progress photos. Those are still so crucial to check. And for those that haven't gotten into the routine doing these on your own, this is your reminder to just start doing these and just make them a non-negotiable every freaking Sunday, period, or not, good or not, good weekend or not, training or not. Just get your progress photos in so that you stop judging yourself. Okay. Because I think just think about the first time you started stepping on the scale more consistently. Those first times you were so rude to yourself with, oh my God, I can't believe I did this much, or the weight's going up, or whatever is happening, right? All the nonsense, all the drama. And if that's not you, I'm very happy for you and cheers. But for those of us that was our mindset, not do that. So what we get to do is expose ourselves more to those things so we can make it more normal. Okay. So normalizing the photos, normalizing the weight on the scale, understanding it's all data. Okay. Progress photos. Okay. Energy and recovery levels. Okay. So if you're getting too fast, we're going to drop the calories. If you're not getting it all, we're going to increase those calories. Prioritizing sleep and recovery. This is again just so important. 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. This is where your muscle repairs and where that happens. Hydration, 3 to 4 liters of water per day. Stress management, so that if you're not getting proper stress management, that's going to impact your recovery and your muscle growth. And number 7, commit to 4 to 6 months before cutting again. I feel like people need to hear that because so many of us are just obsessed to go back to a cut very quick. Believe me, I've been there. I for it, but my coach is like, you need more time in these phases, and I'm grateful that she made me do that. Building muscle takes time, so commit at least the 4 to 6 months in a surplus. Before considering a fat loss phase. Longer bulks like 6 to 12 are even better for your goal if it's significant muscle gain. So tip, embrace the process. Light fat gain is normal in a bulk by keeping the surplus moderate. Will gain mostly muscle, minimize unnecessary fat accumulation. I swear we're almost done. All right, so in about 5 minutes, we're going to start chatting together. So where are you starting is what we want to know. So again, some quick tips is respect the timelines, not even tips, reminders. Respect the timelines of each phase. We're going to map it out based on events, season of life, and capacity. Okay. We're going to brainstorm and collaborate together to create your best starting point for you. Again, we got to be honest with where you're at, where your mindset's at, your relationship with food, what we're doing, what we're not doing. So we can start at the proper place so that we can be successful. Okay. What next? We get to be patient. We get to trust the process. You're going to drop the quick fix. We're going to adopt that long haul / marathon mindset. We're going to celebrate the wins along the way. We're going to do check-ins, do the photos, all the things. But most importantly, we're going to have fun, be grateful, and stay gritty. So let's get to work. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this screen. We're going to chat. If y'all can put your cameras on, let's do that together. And I can give you more details on some of my numbers and what that looked like, but I really don't like giving much because I don't want y'all to just start editing your stuff. Everything is very customized for each individual person. So let's do it. Let's see. How do I get that? I always feel like a grandma when I'm trying to figure my Zoom out. And stop share. Beautiful. Okay, cool. Am I still recording? Please tell me I'm still recording. I didn't record any of that. That's fun. Okay, cool. Hey, Monica.
Hi.
How was it? There's a
That
lot
was
of
good.
info.
No, yeah, no, a lot of info. But no, it was good. I think it just kind of added that extra peace of mind, I guess, because going through each phase is different and you have to change your mindset, because
Yes.
like when I'd never done a cut before. So like when I did the cut, oh sorry, I'm not on
Mm-hmm.
camera. I'm like making my bed and doing
You're,
chores.
don't
Sorry.
worry, don't worry, don't
Uh,
worry.
um I never had a cut. So when I had it, I was like, hey, this is like totally different for me, but I stuck to it. I did it for like the full course, and then
You
I
did. You've done
lost
two
the 20
cuts. You've done
pounds.
two cuts. Yes, girl. You did
Was
it.
it two? Was it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah. That's
you
right.
did your first one. So you did your second one last year, October to January.
Right,
And
right.
then
Okay, okay.
your first one, you did the same thing, October to like January-ish or December.
Yeah, I
So you
forgot.
did
Okay, yeah.
two
So it was like
3-month cuts already.
yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, so like it changes your mind. Like you like how you
Yeah.
approach, certain foods and exercise and all that. So I get it. Because when you were like, all right, let's do a reverse, I was like, huh? I was like, that's too much food. I cannot. Like I just
I
cannot. But
and
it
that's why I put on those slides like just so much info, because if someone fucking screenshots it, I'm like, screenshot it, take it with you, and read it at night if you're in a reverse, because
yeah.
you're gonna need to remind yourself, like. But yeah, I hear you, because
Yeah,
it's
it's
so it's a mindset shift.
yeah, totally. So, and I think right now, like think how you were at the gym, like I'm should be like in maintenance, no
Hmm.
more like cuts for a little bit. Because
Yeah.
I pretty much I'm maintaining the weight that I lost the first two cuts. So like
Yeah.
I'm still at 150, but I haven't, and I was very into like, doing like the logging my food, the weigh-ins, all that, like very consistent. And I
Yeah.
think that helped. But then I kind of fell off. And I'm like, well, let's just see how I can do without. So
Yeah.
I haven't been logging. I just been kind of like, if we go to In and Out, we go to In and Out. Like, just kind of like keeping
Yeah.
it there. But I've noticed I've been able to still maintain it. And it's almost like an unintentional, like maintenance kind of,
Yeah.
but then,
And that's the best place to be, is to not have to log your food, because you're eating give or take around the same things with more flexibility, right? The in and outs,
yeah,
the trips, the whatever.
yeah,
But you're still able to maintain your weight. So that's like an amazing win. And I hope you like really celebrate that, because so many people lose the weight and gain it back, right? If we think about like the
right,
transformation camps, you pay the amount of money for you working out for the 6-month cut, and they have you on extreme everything, but people aren't
right,
able to maintain those habits or those even results. And but you're able to maintain a lot of your habits. You're still doing your strength training. You're
yeah,
still know you're eating more protein than probably you were before, all
right.
those things. So yes, that's the cool thing about a maintenance phase, is that it's so much more flexible, like so much. And but that allows us to, when we do go back into that cut, to be okay with like, okay, I'm gonna have less food. I know that it's for start to finish. There's a certain timeline, and that you can do it. But no, I love that you can eat kind of what you want and maintain that. And now it's going to be intentional for us to make sure that you're maintaining your muscle mass,
Yeah,
because that weight on the scale can stay the same, but we also got to look to see what your muscle mass is at, so that we didn't just swap certain things, that we're not up in muscle, or sorry, down in muscle and up in fat, and that weight's still the same. So we just want to make sure that the protein's going to be really important, even if we're not logging.
yeah, and I think that's like I'm trying to get there again, because the whole thing where I started my job, I was like beyond
Yeah.
stress. I like lost an
Yeah.
extra 3 pounds, like not intentional, but just because
Sure.
stress. And like usually it's weird with stress, I usually snack and eat more, but this time around I was just too busy. I just didn't eat, period. And so I was
Right.
like, oh my gosh. And then I noticed it when I started back up with you in the gym, because I had
Yes, you're
my
back
back injury or
injured.
whatever that was. And I was like, oh my God, everything feels so heavy. Like everything just felt so like, I was like, oh my God, I lost my muscle. What the hell? But just one day at a time.
100%. And we can, and mind you, it's all data. We'll step on the InBody. We can get a good idea
Yeah.
of where you're at. And then we just make it a goal to gain that muscle back. And then we just
Yeah.
continue to maintain.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I want to do, and obviously this is going to be a big replay for everyone else, but you're on the call. So we're going to map yours out. You got like 5 to 10 minutes to map your rest of your year out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it,
A
girl.
piece of
So
paper.
we are currently in March. We just talked about that we're gonna go more intentionally into your maintenance, right? I'm looking at my calendar, so that's what I have to my corner. So I would say for these next, because So first, when we go into mapping anything out, we want to see what are the big things that are motivating for you. So I'm gonna let you answer, but I feel like your trip is your motivating one, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, when
Yeah.
is your trip?
It's July 16th, I think it is. Yeah, July 16th.
Cool. So that's 4 months away, which is awesome.
Which is
So,
awesome.
and like we said, we don't need to go into a cut because you don't want to do that right away. But what we're going to do, I think, during this time is going to keep in a really intentional maintenance. The goal is not to get you logging everything super for these consistently 4 months, but the goal is going to be to get that muscle back up, to lock in that
Yeah,
protein, and then you choose what you're, like we talked about in person, your non-negotiables, right? So getting your
yeah,
steps back up to maybe 5K steps a day, and whether that's walking on the treadmill for a little bit to help get those last remaining steps, uh making sure sleep is a little bit up there, stress management, and those are going to be our main things with having your minimum 2 training days a week, which I think is what we mentioned. So
yeah.
that game plan for these next 4 months, and honestly, your maintenance, what other motivating factors do you have this year?
I think that's about, I mean, just probably my
Yeah.
trip and just motivating is just to feel stronger. Like just
Okay.
generally. Like there's nothing really like I just want to be healthy. I want to be strong. Like I don't want to
Cool.
lose my muscle. Like I'm
Yeah,
40, gonna be 43 in like a week or two. And so I need to
that's
just
right.
continue because all that is going to be downhill when you get older. So the muscle, trying to hold on to that.
Yeah. So I feel like going through being very intentional for these next 4 months with your maintenance is going to be huge. What that's going to do is going to give you a body recomp a little bit, because right now, if you feel like you've lost muscle, it might feel, and
Yeah.
it's just a phrase, it might feel like skinny fat right now, right?
Yeah.
Just a little
Yeah.
softer. And that's just the phrase it's called. Um,
Yeah.
so we can go ahead and switch around some muscle for fat, build some more muscle, lose some fat. Naturally, the fat loss is
Yeah.
just going to be like light because of just the numbers. Um,
Hmm.
but we'll be in intentional maintenance. Okay. So again, hitting your 2, hopefully 3 strength days, even if they're 30 minutes on your home days, that's fine. And then
Yeah.
obviously our once a week at the gym, your sleep, uh, getting your minimum. What's your protein goal? I'm going to let you set it.
I think it should be like between like 120 to 130, maybe.
Yeah.
I
Cause
think
what are you
probably
weighing in right now?
shooting. I think it's still like 149, 148, depending on the day.
Okay.
So, I
Oh,
mean,
so
I
you're a
know it
lot lighter.
probably should be 150, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, yeah, girl. Especially so if you're, and that's the big reason why I get to like let y'all say it so that you can hear it and you're like, ah, oh, dang it, I should. Um, yeah. So you want to hit around 150 grams of protein a day. Mind you, we can build that up little
Okay.
by little. So let's use these four
Yeah.
months to really build you up to 150.
Yeah.
But the more leeway you give yourself, the more, if you're going to continue to say like, oh, it's too hard or it's too whatever. But once you lock in, whether you have a
Mm-hmm.
protein shake a day, whether it's 30 grams, I know you used to have your 50-gram breakfast before, 50 grams plus 30 grams of protein, that's already 80. And that could all
I
be by
know.
like 11 a.m. while your
Yeah.
breakfast at home, driving, having your protein shake, making your
Mm-hmm.
lunch 30 grams, your dinner 40 grams, and like boom, baby, that's 150. I think I didn't
Yeah.
have it,
Yeah.
but I think um so that can get super locked in. It's just going to be a mindset shift, and getting over that 150 grams of protein is too much or too hard to eat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that I
Yeah.
would say let's do that. And honestly, we can reassess, but after your trip, I think if you went into so thinking of it this way, so you're going to turn how old next year?
Oh, next year I'll be 44.
Cool, that's fun. So um you can technically either choose to do, so you're in maintenance, you could either choose to do a build, like a shorter build, and then you can do
Uh-huh.
a short cut before your birthday next year.
Okay.
right? So those are ideas. You choose how you want to
Mm-hmm.
map it out. You can stay in a maintenance this whole time and just enjoy and kind of cruise. And obviously, we're still intentional, but still a bit more cruising. Or if you're like, hey, I'm enjoying how my body looks, but I would love to have fuller shoulders, more
Mm-hmm.
lifted booty, more defined
Mm-hmm.
abs. Those are all things that adding specific muscle mass, so a build phase would do. It doesn't have to be long, and then if you wanted to do another cut, it wouldn't get to be until next year. But again, your
Okay.
3 month cuts are so easy, but you don't even need to like cut like a lot because you've been maintaining so well. So it could even be
Mm-hmm.
a super shortcut if you're like, oh cool, I want to
Mm-hmm.
do a photo shoot for my birthday next year, whatever
Yeah.
motivating factor you got going there.
Mm-hmm.
But having something that's locked in, photo shoots are fun for birthdays, by the way, so that might be cool. But um having something that's locked in so that you know exactly when you're starting, when you're ending, and having that as a
Mm-hmm.
motivating factor, and just seeing how much your body can shift, change, transform in these phases. So that's just a
Yeah.
little way of you can do it. Obviously, you could even just go maintenance the full year, and then until you do have something that you're like, oh, I do want to look a little more snatched or whatever the phrase is,
Yeah.
then you can do that. But that's kind of what that would look like. How does
Okay.
that feel?
So like,
What sounds realistic for you?
um, I think, yeah, I mean, I think, well, I want to stay in a maintenance up until a trip.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were like advising it not to do a cut when I just kind of got off like a mini stress cut on my own. So I'm like, okay, maybe you're right. And I think I wanted to just focus more on like you said, like getting a little bit that muscle mass back. So I guess maybe just maintenance until then. Maintenance
Yeah,
till the
for sure.
trip, and then depending how I come back or what's going on, I guess continue. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if a build would be something. I don't know. I've never done that, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a lot more mindset work, probably than anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know it makes us nervous about more calories, more food, number on the scale moving. But if this is a long game that you're willing to play and you really want to see your body have more shape in the sense of like more muscle, more shape,
Yeah.
uh, a build will be really cool, especially since you've pretty much lost all the weight you can lose. Losing any more wouldn't even look healthy.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just need to I need to get some more muscle.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest thing that when you do walk into a maintenance or a build, things where weight on the scale moves a little bit more, um, we get to remind ourselves that we already know the strategy on how to lose the fat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And once you tell yourself that, you're like, oh yeah, I do, right? I've done this twice already. And then you just get
Yeah.
to remind yourself that like every single transformation cycle, you're leveling up, but you got to do the mindset work with it. You can't just like, yeah, we can hit new weights on the scale, all the things, but if we're not
Mm-hmm.
mentally doing the work to like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm up 3 pounds, but, and then,
Yeah.
then we got to do that work. If not, then we're going to constantly be in a cycle of like not wanting to eat more because we're afraid of gaining weight. And those are things
Yeah.
that we might not admit to ourselves, but I had a conversation with one of my clients who did a successful cut. He is 73 years old, lost 30 pounds, and I was so impressed with him. And then he got injured, and during an injury you actually want to have more carbs and more calories because it's good for recovery, so it's necessary. So
Right. Right.
he had lower calories because what he was doing, and he logged his weight daily. I saw it all on the app, but I didn't see him for 6 months at post shoulder surgery. So,
Oh, wow.
um,
Okay.
yeah, so logged all his weight, everything. So he was maintaining his 200 pounds, but then he would go like 205, 208, 210 on the weekend, and then
Mm-hmm.
go down to and then again back on Monday 206, 205, 203, 201, and then weekend
Mm-hmm.
210. Fucking like, and it was just a cycle. And I was asking him, what are
Yeah.
you eating? Breakfast, cottage cheese, half a bagel, berries.
Yeah.
Cool, sounds
Yeah.
healthy. Lunch, protein shake, Greek yogurt. Dinner, like a soup. And I was like, we're eating way too little bit. Why are we doing this? He's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I'm not hungry. I was like, you're not hungry because you've been eating this way for so long. Therefore, your body's used to it. And I was like, if you bring up your carbs, you bring up your calories, you can maintain this weight. So even if you have your fun on the weekend, you can maintain a good, like, let's say 205
Mm-hmm.
instead of being obsessed with trying to weigh in at 200.
Yeah.
But if you're obsessed with 200, trying to eat low, 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 then you go up to 210 on the weekend, and then you go into the starvation mode, and then binge mode, starvation, binge. We
Mm-hmm.
got to work on that. So that's just a good example of like the cycle we'll get ourselves into if we don't do the mindset work. So I had to
Yeah.
ask him the questions, and I realized, I was like, oh, you're afraid of gaining weight. Is that what's happening? And he goes, I didn't know. I don't think so. And I was like, well, why do you cut your calories so much after the weekend? He goes, well, to drop back down. I was like, okay, so yes, you are. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. But we won't really say that, and that's okay. That's my job
Yeah.
to ask the question, to do the things. But that's also why it's so important to do the check-ins, the communication,
Mm-hmm.
logging the weight. Even if he wasn't logging the food, I knew what he was doing, because
Yeah.
the biofeedback markers. And he's like, oh, I'm always tired. I was like, cool, tell me what you're eating. I was like, okay, because you're eating like a toddler is supposed to
Yeah.
eat, not like a 73-year-old man who just had 2 surgeries,
Yeah.
So same thing for us, right? So just, it's an important thing. So anyways, play with the thought. You still have a lot of time to do a
Okay.
build, but definitely in a maintenance, locking in your strength days, locking in your protein, getting that up to
Yeah.
150, increasing more sleep, even if it's 30 minutes at a time. We said 3 to 4 days, and then yeah, working on stress management, which you're already doing. So
Okay.
that's what that'll look like. Hopefully this was helpful, and it just allowed like some more clarity and some more peace
Yeah.
to know, like, okay, where to go from here. And that you've already done 2 successful cuts and maintained your weight, but now we got to do a little bit more on the mindset work to be okay with the weight on the scale moving around a bit more,
Yeah.
and locking in that protein so that we maintain more muscle and not feel
Lose
skinny
it.
fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yay. Well, thanks for being on. Are you okay with people hearing this part? Because I did end up recording. I see that it's on. Is this okay if I get to share it and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
oh, okay. Okay.
sure.
Cool. Well, have a great day, and I will see you back for training. Oh, well, I don't see
Okay.
you this week, but happy early birthday, and I'll see you probably next month. Send me your April dates when you get a chance.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Toodles.
Bye.
Bye. All right, y'all. I hope that was super helpful. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're my client, you're working with me, get back to me. No, walk me through your mindset when you're hearing certain things, just like you heard Monica. She was obviously hesitant with the build, obviously nervous about what you have to do for the maintenance phase, but seeing all the facts, seeing the structure, seeing the strategy and how that works is going to be more helpful. Tell me your thought process so I can help you understand that 200 carbs isn't too much for you, and that you can maintain your current weight and still eat what you want to eat, enjoy the vacations, still have the muscle mass, etc. So anyways, send me your thought processes. What did you learn? Send me what are your motivating factors, your why, whether it's a trip, whether whatever it is that you're motivated to either eventually do a fat loss phase for or build more muscle for. Tell me what you feel is your timeline, and then we'll collaborate together on what I think is going to be the best timeline, and hopefully it's fairly in alignment with yours. And then let's lock it in. And the locking it in is more, it's more about the mindset. Like, understand what it's going to require. It's going to take steps. It's going to take logging food. It's going to take prioritizing your protein. It's going to take some whether meal prepping or planning out when to hit certain meals, and to kind of get over your own BS respectfully. So anyways, have a great day. Let's chat. Let's lock in your transformation game plan for the rest of the year. And let's go and grow. Toodles. Bye.